Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Today I am going to make a hardcover journal. So this is going to be for a book that I'm making for a friend of mine called Kim. So she's having her first baby and she's not going to find out the sex of it, so I'm not going to go with a particular gender theme or anything. I have got a kit ready that's from my porch prints that I have printed and chopped up and everything, so that's pretty much ready to go. I just think I need to print a few extra bits and bobs off. And then what my idea is, so one of the parts of the kit is it's like just a complete memories type book. So it's got like month 1, month 2 and so on, and like Halloween and Easter and everything else. So I'm gonna have that as like a separate journal within this journal. So what I want to do is make a 3 flap cover. So I'm thinking that it's going to be something like, let me just, these are just pieces from like past covers that I've made, so these won't be the size, but I'm thinking if we've got like the actual journal that just opens like that, and then I was thinking to add, so like a spine here for the journal and then another spine, and then have that as like a little flap over, and then this one would be taller and it'd flap on top, I think. So that's the idea anyway. That's what I'm thinking that I want to do with this. These are way too small. These are just kind of ends. So I'm just gonna measure the papers. The papers aren't like really in a way that I can kind of flip through them at the moment, so they're just standard papers basically. So I'm just going to get the measurements that I need for the cover and then I will be back in a second. Okay, so this is basically one of the signatures that I've put together. So this will be the first signature, and this is going to be of the extra little journal inside the journal. So I think with this one, because it's got the months, what I've tried to do is have the occasions at the right months that the baby's going to hit them, kind of thing. So like, because the baby's due in October, it's going to be like Halloween and then month 1, month 2, month 3 and then Christmas. So I've tried to like plan that out, but I think because obviously like baby dates can be different and stuff like that, what I'm actually going to do is one of those signatures where it's not sewn into the book, where it's just on a string and you can like slot it in and then you can take it back out, and then that way she's got the opportunity to reorder these if she wants to. So there's like quite a few pages in between because of the way that it's laid out. So what my plan is to put little tabs on the end of each page. So I'll just grab one of those. So these are the little tabs. I can't remember which, I think I bought like 2, maybe 3 kits from my porch prints. They're all, I think, named Boho Baby. And then my plan is to basically put a tab on the end of each page, like actual page, so like as in each month, and then have them kind of going down. You only get 4, so I'm gonna have to print a few off. So we've got like one with a giraffe, an elephant, baby shoes and a bear, and then on the other side you can label them. So I think I'll probably have the labels that way and just kind of, you know, put it in there. So what I need to consider is the size of these. So I'm probably not going to have them sticking out more than the actual page. So we've got like the notches there. So I'll probably have them just like that. But I just want to see how big these come out, because they look massive, but I feel like they might not actually be that big. just get a piece of scrap. Okay, so I've got a piece of scrap from my pastel goth kit. So let's just move that. So I'm trying to just line up the end so that it's not like a waste kind of thing. Okay. Oh. I haven't really used this yet, so it would be pretty cool to give this a try. Okay, so actually that's not really much taller than those, so I could make my own rather than like, because there's only 4 of these on the page and the rest of the stuff that's on that page I don't think I would need that many times. So I could maybe, because I could always stick them in a little bit more, I don't know. Obviously it won't be this, it'll be something from the baby kit, that the other baby kit that I bought. But that wouldn't be too bad actually, would it? I think I'll make my allowance for the size of that so that I've got it kind of in mind. So if I just clip that there, and then, so I'm thinking, I feel like maybe this should be at the front, at the top maybe, and then have the other cover come on top of what's there. So what I'm using here is just some chipboard. It's weird though, like it has like a weird smell, so I tend to try and do things to this to try and make it smell different. So like once I've glued it and stuff, I was thinking I might put like you know, like a dryer sheet underneath, like, well, just kind of glue a dryer sheet to it, because they smell really nice and fresh. And then I always try and like spray like a bit of something like an air freshener or like a disinfectant that's got like a nice smell to it just over the chipboard, not to drench it or anything. I just literally kind of spray it, and then the mist that's in the air I'll just like flap the board through basically, and it seems to work just fine. So how am I doing this? Let me just grab these again so I can think what I'm actually doing. So I've got 3 covers. These are obviously not them. And then I'll have 2 spines. So yeah, so I need a piece to be as wide as the tab, but then I also would need, so after the spine's folded up, I would need this to be the same size as that as well, so that when this folds over it doesn't catch on this, because obviously if I've got this on this spine here, when I fold this over that's going to lift and then that's going to end up sticking out, and then when I fold this cover over so this spine lifts up, this is going to catch on here. So I basically need to make all 3 this width, don't I? Okay, sometimes you just have to like visualize it to try and see exactly what you need. So let me just move these things out of the way. So what I do with this is I get 2 pieces of chipboard at the size that I need, and then I use Fabri-Tac to glue this down. I got the technique from Gypsy Rose Papery, but she's changed kind of like what her channel is about, so she's actually got rid of the videos, and I was really sad actually because I had them saved as a tutorial, because honestly she's so brilliant, she's got such a good skill with it, but yeah, she got rid of those, so I can't really link the tutorial that I followed to make these originally. Not sure about the length, because I mean I am probably going to have lace and things and stuff, and because it's going to be a hard cover, it's not really going to matter if that's a little bit higher, but I may just trim off, I don't know, maybe like 1/8 of an inch or something like that from the top. So I'm going to measure this. So if I do it, I'm tempted to just go for 6 inches, and then that'll just give me that extra little bit of wiggle room, I think. So yeah, I'm going to go for that. So all I'll do is mark the edges at 6 inches. I realise I'm probably not using the ruler correctly. I've got like the notch is not showing, so I tend to just use the actual edge of the ruler because otherwise it's just a bit of a nightmare. Okay, so once I've done this, I'm going to mark out another 5 of these because I need 3 covers. So I'll need, because I want to glue 2 pieces together to make it really nice and sturdy. So I'm going to just pause the video because you don't want to watch me just measuring, and then I'll come back and show you me cutting one of them out. Okay, so this is all 6 pieces of chipboard that have now been cut. I did have a look on the packaging to see if I could tell you anything more about this type of chipboard that I'm using, but there really isn't anything on there. It's just literally 25 sheets of 8.5 by 11 chipboard. It doesn't tell me the thickness or anything, but it's, you know, it's like one of those notches. I don't really use inches very often. Right, so what I'm going to now be doing is I'm going to be cutting down this line. So I need to be really careful because I've just changed the blade in this because my husband decided to shred all of the packaging boxes that were in our like kind of utility room with this, which, you know, it was fine. I told him he could do it, but yeah, we like blunted the hell out of it. So I actually didn't really realise that I had more blades, so I'm very glad that I've now got a sharper blade. So all I'm going to be doing is lining up my metal ruler on the line that I've drawn with the pencil, and I'm just going to be dragging the blade down it. Oh, that is nice and sharp. It's done it in one. So that's literally all I'm going to be doing. So this is likely going to work out as the spine because I also glue the spine, 2 pieces of the spine together as well. So I'll just do one more and then I will, I'll just pause it whilst I do it because I know that you want to watch me use this excellent technique one more time. Okay, there we go. Right, so I will do the other 4 sheets of chipboard and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I now have my 6 pieces of chipboard ready to go. So when I Fabri-Tac these, I go a bit crazy with it, and this is literally where my Fabri-Tac supply goes. You need to just basically saturate a lot like this, a lot kind of thing, to actually get this to stick properly. And the good thing about using Fabri-Tac is that it dries hard, so it adds an even, like, sort of heavier layer of thickness and rigidity to the journal cover. So I'm just going to go all the way around the edge. Also, I have no idea when these videos are going to be coming out, so what I'm actually doing is I am making these in May and June time. So I've got like a little craft haul that I might have already put up, and yeah, like, because I went shopping trying to look for some ideas, but because Kim's baby's due in October. I don't know whether she's going to open this as soon as she receives it, or whether she's going to wait until October and stuff like that. So what I'm doing is pre-recording these videos to then post them once she's actually opened it, because she is really lovely and she watches my videos and stuff, so I don't want her to end up seeing this huge spoiler. So there is a ton of glue on there. If it was fabric, I'd spread it out with my finger, but it's not, so I'm just gonna lay this piece straight on top. And then what I will do, so even though it's Fabri-Tac, so it shouldn't really warp the pages at all, I am going to put some really, really heavy books on top of this, and I will leave this for 1, maybe 2 days, just to make sure that it's really, really stuck down. So I'm just going to pause the video again whilst I do the same thing with the other 2 covers and put some heavy books on them, because I want to do that right now basically, so I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so those are all glued together now, and they are sitting under a huge pile of really heavy books, and like I say, I'm going to leave those there for a couple of days, I think, before I touch them. I will do the same with the spine. So I need, let's see, yeah, I need 2 spines, but I'm thinking it might be cute actually to have a little spine that flops in front, so that when the book closes, it's a bit like, I don't know. Anyway, so this is the memory book. So this is just literally for Kim to write in. So there isn't really anything that's probably going to go in here aside from maybe some photos. So the other part of the book is going to be more the kind of junk journal side, where she can kind of store all of her memories, and like you know, there'll be pockets and stuff and envelopes in there, so she could put things like the baby hospital bracelet and I don't know what you keep for babies, but you know what I mean. You know the gist that I'm going with. So what I'm gonna do, because I don't think this is gonna get that much thicker, I am definitely gonna leave a little bit more space. So I think ideally I'd like them to maybe be about like that. So that would be, so if they were together, that would be just over half an inch. A 1 inch maybe, because I feel like I'm probably going to go for maybe like a 3-inch spine, maybe a 4-inch actually, because of the size of the other stuff. But I think a 1-inch spine for this side will be plenty, because when these are together, so if she does only write on them, it's less than half an inch. But you know, if she puts some photos and things like that and it puffs them out a little bit, I feel like 1 inch would probably be acceptable for that. So for the small spine then, I'm going to do 2 1 inches. So yeah, so I'm just going to measure it exactly the same as I did before. So we'll go for 1 inch there and another inch there. And then 1 inch there and another there. And then I'm going to be gluing those 2 together. So I'm just going to draw my line there. And there. And I'm just going to get my cutting mat. I hate that when you like look at lines that you've drawn or something and it's like that 100% does not look straight, but you've definitely measured it, and so like it can't not be. It's so annoying, isn't it, when it's just like you're not completely sure what you're actually looking at, whether it's straight or not. Oh. Okay, so let's see. That's definitely not the same size. Oh, I know why. Oh, it's because I measured it from the end, which is more than an inch. Okay, I'm just going to do that again. So the lines weren't wonky, they were just measured wrong. Okay. Much better. Yay. Okay, so that's that one. Right, so I'm thinking, how big is 4 inches? If I just... So yeah, that's a little bit more than 4, a little bit less than 4 inches. I feel like that's a good spine, because then I'm going to have that in there, so that takes off some space, and I want her to be able to have lots of space to be able to like save things from all the baby's firsts and stuff, because like the first year is important, isn't it? Because it's like where all the stuff happens and whatever. So yeah, I think I'll do a 4-inch spine, so that she's got like a 3-inch spine. I might just ask my friend who's had a baby, just ask her like how much stuff she would have liked to have kept, possibly, from the first year, because I don't want to do it huge and then it just be like this big gaping journal. And also, like, she's never had a junk journal as far as I'm aware, so I don't want to like overwhelm her with it and it just be absolutely massive. Okay, I'm going to go for a 3-inch spine and give her a 2-inch journal for the memory, for the like the collection side of things, because I'm sure, like, you know, she'll probably have her own things that are like little trinket boxes and stuff like that. So I've pulled out all my scraps now and I don't know which is which. Should figure out something to do with all these little scraps of chipboard. Right, okay, so yes, we're going to go for a 3-inch spine, but this is measuring from the end of the ruler, not, so it's maybe like 3 and 1/8 of an inch, possibly. Obviously, in the UK, we tend to use centimetres a lot more, so my knowledge of inches is not great, so I can't really say, like, I feel like I don't know. I feel like 1/8 of an inch is maybe just like one notch on the ruler, but then to try and explain what the other ones are, I have no idea. I know that that'd be 1/2 inch, but like I can't even tell where 1/4 of an inch would be, maybe like halfway between that and like, I don't know, I have no idea. I'm so sorry. Like, I'd like to be able to help you with measurements, but I clearly need some sort of lesson on how to work in inches, because I don't know, centimetres is just so much easier for me, because obviously I've grown up in the UK and we use centimetres. Oh, I came off the line there. That's not going to be good enough. Okay, let me just see if I can neaten that up a little bit. Come on, sharp blade, help me out. It's not doing it. Oh. I think I've taken too much now. Okay. So I'm just doing a new piece. Alright, okay. So 3 again. And I don't use craft knives or this knife all that often, to be honest. So I'm not as skilled with it. Like, I see Natasha from Treasure Books, and she just like trims her pages down like this way of doing it. And I'm like, anytime I try and do that, it looks like I've sawn it off with like an actual wood saw. It just literally never works when I try and do it that way. She's obviously magic. I literally don't know how she does it. Okay, so I'm really happy with that one. So then let's just do one more. I'm sure you don't want to watch me do that, so I'll just pause while I do it. Okay, so now I have my my 2 spines. So I'm just going to glue these together exactly the way that I did with the other ones, and I'm going to glue them. Wait, no, I'm not. I'm thinking, because I like to put ledges on my books, because I feel like that looks really cool when you do that. I can't remember what I did though, because I remember that I did ledges before, but can't remember whether I'd like doubled these up before I glued them down, because those would be like 2 perfect ledges. And then by the time I've cut another one of those off, I'll have like a really thin bit that I could add onto these as well. So I feel like once I've got maybe paper or fabric on this spine, I feel like, yeah, I'm going to do 2. I'm going to double up the ledges. So before, do I glue them on after? No, I feel like I glue them on first, and then I glue these together, and then I'll put the books on. I can't remember what I do. Okay, let's just do it. Otherwise, God, I'm just gonna keep procrastinating. Right, so we want Ellen's version of 3 inches here. And I say that because obviously I don't measure in inches, I measure from the end of the ruler, because I'm special. Right, okay. So that's 3 inches there. And then another special 3 inches. Oh, I've just headbutted the camera. Sorry if that shook too much. So I would obviously ask your opinion normally on some of this stuff, but I can't really do that because, like I say, I'm recording these in May and June, and they're probably not going to go up until October-ish. How much is that? Oh yes, I can literally just do another special inch there and one there. And even though these will be quite thick on these little spines, I feel like it'll still look fine, because obviously I don't want it to be too different. So it's probably going to be best anyway just to have it like that. But obviously please don't not put comments, because I do really enjoy reading your comments and things. So even though I've already recorded probably the entire series before you get to see it. Well, it will be the entire series because I need to give her the book. So even though it'll be that, you know, I'd still like to hear what you think about it, or like if you thought maybe I could have done something differently, or like if you know any good tutorials for hardback cover making or anything like that, or if this has helped you. Actually, that would be nice to know. Because I know that until I saw the video from Gypsy Rose Papery, I did not know how to do this at all. Didn't even know where to start. But yeah, her video was so good, and it was, I think Gypsy Rose Papery was maybe like the first gothic junk journals that I'd ever seen, but now like her channel's a bit more dedicated to, I think it's more like art journaling and stuff, which is obviously still really pretty, so definitely go and check her stuff out. It's just a bit of a shame that she took down the tutorial for the hardback cover, so I'm just like, because I've made 2 of these in the past, so I'm just hoping that I'm remembering everything enough to kind of do this, and obviously if this works then I'll kind of have my own tutorial up. So this is not going to all be done in one part, it's going to be a couple of parts, because I can't, like I say, I need to dry the covers and stuff before I can move on to doing anything else. So I'll probably work on the signature and things like that in the meantime, signatures even, and I'll do that with you guys as well. So it'll be like a bit of a craft with me series. So obviously, you know, not everyone's going to be needing to make a baby book, but if you are crafting, you can definitely craft along with me. Just have me on in the background whilst you're crafting away, or whatever you like to do, and I'd definitely be interested in knowing what you're up to. So like, what kind of projects are you working on at the moment? That'd be really cool to find out. And if you are not already a subscriber, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and you'd also be able to see, like if you were following along with a series like this one, you'd be able to see when I'm posting new videos, and obviously you'd like really be helping out my business as well if you subscribed. So if you do that, thank you very much, and thank you very much to all of my existing subscribers. I really do appreciate you very, very much. Okay. God, that definitely, it's a good job this is a cutting mat, because that just went through so much. Right, okay, so that's one ledge, and that's one ledge for the thin one. So let me just check that this is right. So what I'll be doing is gluing these together, then I'll be sticking these on here, and then I'll be gluing these panels together as well. And then the same with this one. So I'll be making sure that these are in the same place as I'm placing these ones before I glue them down, and then I'm going to do the same on the bottom. So rather than have you watch me do that exact same thing again, I'm just going to cut these up, and then I will be back when I'm ready to glue. Okay, so now I've got everything cut out. I'm now ready to start gluing, but what I want to do to try and make sure, instead of me trying to line everything up and all that kind of nonsense, I'm just gonna place these where I think I want them. So I think what I'll probably do is glue them first, just to try and make life a little bit easier. I think that maybe what I did do before was made the spines, glued the spines, and then dried them and then glued them onto the spines, but that's just going to take like an extra day or so. So I think, you know, realistically the pressure is going to be there, because these are very thick spines, so the pressure will be there on the main spine. So I think that it's probably enough to have these glued together and then glued onto the spine as well. So just pressing that together and getting Fabri-Tac all over my fingers. I think what I'd like to try is a rounded cover as well. I did see a really cool tutorial, and it used a kitchen roll, like an empty kitchen roll, and I thought that was such an awesome way to do it. and it actually turned out looking incredible as well. So I'm going to try and find that tutorial and then try and make like a rounded spined journal. Obviously if I do it I will link the tutorial, and then yeah, I think that would be cool. Have any of you like tried to make a rounded spine journal before? And if you have, how's it gone? And did you use a kitchen roll or did you use something else? Be pretty cool to know. I feel like there's not that many rounded spine journals that you come across, really. Most of them are I think most of them actually are soft cover more than anything. Sorry, my fingers are starting to get really gross now because of the glue, because obviously pressing these pieces together is making it seep out a little bit, which is fine. You know, I need to have lots of glue on there to make sure it really, really sticks. I mean, I've never known anything come off with Fabri-Tac, to be honest. The pressing under the books thing is really more for it's to prevent warping, but this is the information that was in Gypsy Rose Papery's video, so I just literally did what she said, so that's what I'm doing. I don't know if Fabri-Tac really needs that length of time, but to be honest, because it's a lot of work, isn't it, and I'd rather wait and kind of know that I'm doing it right than rush it and then end up wasting the work that I've done. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, so I think, because I don't want them too high, because I want to be able to maybe put a clip on the top or something. And I'd like them to have about the same distance from top and bottom. So I feel like maybe a little bit closer. So let's see how big that is. So 1 special inch looks like that. Yeah, I think that looks good like that. So I'm just gonna draw on each side so I know exactly where I am sticking them back down. And then all I need to do then is place these back between the lines on this one, and then just draw the line on this one. And then I know exactly where to place the thin ones as well. So I'm going to place these down, and then I'm going to glue the spine together. As brilliant as Fabri-Tac is, there are some downsides to it. It's so slow because it's so viscous, but then it also, like, well, it used to spew out when I used the actual Fabri-Tac or Beacon 3-in-1 bottle, whichever it was. But honestly, using these Sugar Bell ones, it doesn't really, well, it doesn't spew out. Like, I've got like a bit of mess at the end, but it's not too bad, to be honest with you. And it's only ever really dry, so right. So let's just place that back in between those lines and just give it a good press. So because it's really wet and saturated with so much glue, it will wiggle about a little bit, but just try and really squeeze it down there. Doesn't really matter about the seepage there, to be honest. And then just make sure that you're happy with that position. It doesn't have to be perfect, so like obviously for this one, because it's a baby book, I'm trying to make it fairly perfect, because I want it to be really nice for her, because like I say, Kim doesn't really do junk journaling or anything like that. I don't know if she does scrapbooking, but I feel like to give somebody a junk journal for the first time, and if you give someone a junk journal that's like really grungy and like, I don't think like gothy is her style at all, but if you were to give someone something really grungy and stuff, covered in like kind of ripped up and torn pages and stuff, even though that's kind of the beauty of junk journaling, I feel like it's maybe could be a little bit off-putting possibly. So basically I'm just trying to make a perfect journal where possible. Obviously it's handmade, so there's no way to kind of guarantee it will definitely be perfect, and it's a gift, so it's it'll be what it is, but I'm hoping that it'll be good and as neat as possible, because Kim is very, very neat and tidy and clean and stuff, so I'm sure she would appreciate that kind of thing. And for that reason, I'm not sure if I'm actually gonna use tea-dyed paper. I'm in two minds about it, because obviously I've got pages from the digital kit that I've printed out, but because it's now a 2-inch spine, I need to make sure that it's not, you know, just flapping about and stuff. So I wanted to have lots of like space, journaling space, and like pockets and things to store stuff in. So yeah, I'm not sure about using tea-dyed papers. I'll have to see, because obviously like tea-dyed is to make things look aged and vintage and stuff, whereas even though I feel like this probably will look like a vintage book, I still want it to be kind of newish looking. I'm definitely just waffling right now because I'm just trying to focus on like really getting these glued in the right places and stuff. So as soon as I've glued this last ledge on, I'm going to be gluing the spines together, and then that's going to be it for this video, because I need to give these spines time to dry. So I'm just checking that that is all nice and lined up. Okay. Right, yeah, so they look like they're part of the same book, don't they? Cool. Right, so now I just need to glue this onto this, and this one onto the other thin one. Okay, let's just wait half an hour whilst the glue comes down. Just kidding. Right, okay, so just gonna get, again, loads and loads of glue on this. Just really want to saturate it as much as possible. Move that up a little bit so it's a bit more in view. Okay, so then press this on top. So this does make the spines obviously twice as thick as the actual book covers, because I've got the ledges on there as well. But I really do love the way that these ledges look when they're on a book. Not to rhyme, but you know, it happens. Right, so I'm just wanting to press this down as much as possible, and then I will clear away any seepage, and then I'm gonna put them underneath the books with the other covers. So I'm just gonna glue this one on, and then that will be it. So thank you guys very, very much for watching this video today. I really appreciate it. And if you have liked it, please can you give me a thumbs up? It really does help me to know that you actually are enjoying these videos when you give me a thumbs up. I'm not really sure what a thumbs up gives you in terms of YouTube stats, but I know that it makes me happy. So if you have enjoyed it, please do give me a thumbs up, because I really do. I love seeing them. I think they're brilliant, and they do really make me happy every time I see them. So thank you very much for those of you that do pop a thumbs up on there. I feel like maybe I've got a regular few people that do it all the time, which is really nice. But yeah, if you have enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. But okay, so that is it from me for today. Like I say, all I'm going to do now is just put these under the books to dry, and then that is going to be it. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next time for either the next part of this of the cover tutorial, or it'll be working on the signatures, and then the second part of the cover tutorial will be up at some point soon after that. All right, well, thanks very much, guys. See you soon. Bye.